are going to talk about consciousness and the dance of intelligence and meaning of life and what is to be free. Well, my life story is like a film within a film. At a very early age, I don't know, but how I figured out the correlation between the physical world's knowingness and intrinsic mental knowingness. Things I had never failed to ask from the very beginning of my life is what is the relation between me and the world? Why everything looks familiar? Why this world exists? Why am I here? And why am I in this film, in this frame, in this box? When I was just 8, 9 years old, I often went to a public park where there was this musical water show, a fountain. Quite often I went to see it alone. Noticed its creativity, a synchronized visuals, movements between water, music, and light, flowing patterns through core, rippling waves, dancing on rhythm, splashing sharp, defined movements together. Water splashing in various shapes and forms. I noticed after dancing on music how the shapes of water got back to its core. Each drop splashing and falling exuberantly on the rhythm. Very artistic art coming with the pressure of water out of something from the core which was not visible. The main thing what I liked about it, it was watching the water pressure going up, taking shapes and dropping back to its basic form. It got me more closer to myself, specifically when the pressure came down and each drop fell above the ground, gave me a sense of life and a small death. So alive, fresh, like I'm myself dancing, and with each fall, every time I enjoyed the falling and again getting up with the force. I felt I am one of the drop from that fountain. Few more days repetitively, I continued watching it. I got more closer to life, to myself, got more larger perspective of life, like like a feeling where I have died many small deaths, a sudden knowingness of itself, realized that my life is like this fountain, which is splashing and falling off, doing and undoing. Suddenly I realized I'm the ground and the drop. Everything at the same time. I looked at the sky, it felt I'm looking at me. Looked at the ground, felt I'm gazing at me. My heart was pounding, was tearing apart like a child, waking up to its own reality, busted with tears, waking up to the sense of its own existence. Like seeing everything from that perspective for very long years, I tried holding on to that feeling. It went on like super knowing days, and many days it went on dry, struggling with I know, but maybe not really. I do not know anything. I had questions inside for everything. Why things are like this, the splash of meanings used to arrive like that fountain. And there were days I told myself, I do not know anything. Full of doubt on myself, that was the beginning of my whirlpool. What I realized is this, that physical world is not having a standalone existence. The physical world is an effect of the mental world, mental system. It's a other way around. Let's do an exercise and find out what is actually consciousness is and what is the nature of ultimate reality. Let's go to the realm of thoughts And let's see if thoughts and feelings could alone create the entire mess and suffering. Before I ask you the question, even if you know the answer, do not speak. If you can tell me how much is 9 multiplied by 9 is, do not need to answer, keep the answer with yourself. Now let's try a bit higher. How much is 800 multiplied by 90 is? Even if you know the answer, do not need to speak. Now, what we noticed, even the fastest mind will have to think for a second. But if I say now, statue, stop. Now notice you're quite still. You're not dead. You are alive. Notice just a being. No body think. It's just a being. This is what it is consciousness is, the mental fundamental core, not a neutral source. Now again, we move and we calculate. Notice your eyeballs are moving. So when you try to calculate, your eyeballs are moving, which is inness, beingness. Being without its ness is consciousness, which is nothing but it exists in the baseline. It's non-computational, and in physical world, when it is in the self-awareness, it is in the ness. So ness of consciousness. So any activity, forms, shapes, it is ness of consciousness. Thoughts are appearance of consciousness. Matter is not the ultimate reality. Matter matters, but it matters because matter is the appearance of mental systems, and matter is the image of mental reality. To have an individual mind, we need something prior. What do we require is the mental systems, mental links, and prior mental system. What is there is the fundamental core, the ground, which is consciousness. We can keep on talking about this, about our experiences, but what we do not talk about is the experiencer. The taste of food happens in tongue, but the feeling and the memory of that particular taste is mental memory. It is all arising within experience. It is all the seen things, even in this hall right now, even in your hand, mobile, your bag, anything solid is the appearance of psychological affair. It is appearances in experience. All matter is an appearance of mental states. The construction you see in this hall, the solid things you hold, is a unified image of complex mental dynamics, mental processes. It's more a psychological affair. So what did I figure out is that the visuals I had seen at Fountain are not the ultimate reality, not the ultimate truth. The things seen are correlated to things not seen. So that means everything is inherently mental. The ultimate truth is in the mental core, not in the physical world. So if the physical world is not what it seems to be, then the question comes how to live life on daily basis. As things are quite difficult in physical world, even after you try it, it does not change. It does not change the system or the things around you. Why there is so much of suffering? Has life failed us? How I became from a model to this? What is to be free? What is freedom is? To be free is to become who you are. To be free is to know whether our universe is in black hole. Then also I am in my beingness, or even if I leave my corpus body now or million years later, I am in self, When I enter my mind's world, I'm still in self. When I'm working through my mental mentation, I'm still in self. I have always been in self. No other place to reach before birth in myself, and post birth, I am in myself. And if you ask me why I became what I am today, then I became what I was supposed to become. I am a secondary effect of mentation. I became what I'm supposed to appear as an effect. Nature wanted to work through me in this way. I follow celibacy, and yet I continued living in between. Family, serving people, didn't run away to jungle. I go through the daily struggles, didn't escape from daily chores, but I know deep down I'm just my appearance, and I continue to support the system around me by serving my family, patients in my family, other patients, and people outside of my family. More than 500 birds, dogs, cats, cows, and I write poems, I sing, I educate people about mind, consciousness, and life. And for some questions, I still say I do not know. But in the core, I know in actual me is no body. No body. There is just my being. There is silence, not even the mind, matter. The actual me is nothing, it's just a being. There is no thing which exists. Yes, in some manner, I would say life has failed us, or we can say in another way around, it has failed itself in physical world. If you pay closer attention, things are difficult in physical world because our universe is a irreducible computation. Even if we know, we cannot know everything. We cannot predict future. Our necessities of daily life is causing somewhere harm to each other. The system cannot be completely harmless. What suffering is, it is an effect of the system. Even if my character or your character does not mess up, does not do weird things, but some other character can come and steal and do weird things. So what do we do then? It is our 100% moral responsibility to supervise the nature's doings, the choices we choose. We have activities available from our mind and around us. We need to pay attention morally 100%. It is our responsibility to not cheat, to not murder, to not unnecessarily create war, to not rape, to not steal. Supervise the things presented in your individual mind. Supervise the choices you are making. If it's not morally right, do not do it. Because in the nature's nature, there is no less or more moral thing. It does not care if you have a house on your head or food in your plate. Have you ever seen several big sized dogs tearing up a small kitten on the streets? Because this is how nature is. It does not have any moral ground or less moral ground, because whatever it is doing to itself. But if we take responsibly the things coming to us, it can somehow make less suffering for each other. Don't take the system to the wrong side, wrong direction, because nature can pass certain judgments which can fail the whole physical system. The system gets affected. Second thing to know, that we are the effect of each other. So the system is codependent, that means. I would like to mention that I do not take any milk product, non-vegetarian food, and I do not consume onion garlic. It's my choice from 13 years. But I am eating plants which are 100% alive. So I am still eating life. I'm still causing some kind of harm to the system. But the idea is to cause less harm to each other, to cause less suffering to living beings. So back to what we were talking about is the system is codependent. If a butter would not like to melt on the bread or etc., it has no other work here. The butter does not have a standalone existence. But if you're going through too much suffering, like on physical level, mental level, financial level, or personal level from an oppressor, or things are really not happening right, then, and if you realize that you cannot take it anymore, you are very exhausted with your health and everything, then calm down and understand compassion is must. We are here to serve each other. And physical survival is difficult. This is to understand how much ever we talk, choose different kind of words. In baseline, we are just one thing, that is consciousness. By just calming down, having compassion in our hearts, not taking things way too far. If you have been in your best, still things did not work out, did not change, taking rest is wise. Don't take things way too far. We can say once in a while, even if I know, but I do not know all the things. It is impossible to know everything. Things are not the way it seems to be in the physical world. It is sometimes good to not know and have a space to have silence, to realize by what you are, who you are, to have a sense of fullness, wholeness, to know when I leave, I will leave a beautiful world for one another, will not be making a mess, then handing over to my next generation. I will leave the world at a better place for my next generation. I was never a separate physical individual entity, standalone existence. My individual separate self was just a configuration of my ultimate core. To know I served with my physical body in physical world in my best possible capacity to my own system, I was always free. I was always in myself. Thank you.